Finish him.
Welcome to Hitman Boxing. Hit that like and subscribe button. Also hit that bell icon so you know when I'm dropping my videos. Let's talk Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia will be facing off against Errol "The True Spence on November 21st, live on pay-per-view. At the moment, Danny Garcia is at a crossroads in his career, though he will be facing off against Spence for his IBF and WBC welterweight titles. He's kind of had some shortcomings in the past at 147 against Keith Once Upon a Time Thurman and Sean Big Tooth Porter. He lost both of those fights. And he wasn't looking like the same Danny Garcia that we saw at 140. You know, Danny Garcia really likes to hold on to that image that he had at 140 when he was kind of killing it, right? Especially that Lucas Matisse fight, which is one fight that comes to mind of Danny Garcia, is that I was like, oh man, this dude he's kind of nice. He's kind of nice, right? But, you know, he hasn't been able to duplicate that same success at 147. In fact, once he got to 147, they were calling him out like crazy. You know, start off with Keith Once Upon a Time Thurman, who was calling him out. You know, he got the fight with Danny Garcia. And of course, Keefy Poo tried to, get out of the fight. Honestly, he was trying to get out the fight, making up all types of excuses and injuries. But that's neither here nor there because he went through with the fight, beat Danny Garcia. Sean Porter, up next, also beat Danny Garcia. Now, let's get into a couple of statements from Danny Garcia I want to comment on. The first being, I faced the hardest hitters and my chin has stood up to the test. I fought the best and I beat them because I was better than them. Danny Garcia's statement. So, Danny Garcia does have a hell of a chin. But how has that helped him at 147? Oh, it helps you from not being dropped on your ass at 147. Because I remember Keith Thurman was rocking your jaw. Remember that? You thought Sean Porter was going to come out, try to wrestle you, fight you like a football player, but he boxed you. So again, you're stepping up in competition. I guess we could backtrack real quick and talk about Lamont Peterson. That was a fight at a catchweight. But a lot of people felt like you lost that fight too. The second half of that fight, if Lamont Peterson would have turned on earlier, he might have beat you at 143. But again, Danny Garcia is at a crossroads at his career because now he's going up against Errol Spence. And is it because he's got nothing left to lose? Is that why he's fighting him? Let's get into another statement that Danny Garcia made. I will say a lot of that is because I was too comfortable with where I was at in life. I was already a 2-division champ. I didn't get up as much as I should have for those fights as far as that grit and wanting it more. This fight, I feel like this is it. I'm seasoned now. I've been in a lot of tough fights. I feel good. I feel like my career is where I want it to be, and I feel better than ever. Danny Garcia's statement. So, through his trials and tribulations, he now feels that he's ready to take on Errol Spence. Now, me personally, I feel like this is the perfect time for him to fight Errol Spence since he's coming off of that hellacious accident and injury. And we don't know where Errol Spence's mind is at right now. We don't. The only thing I can say is I know he's keeping his weight down, which is something he hasn't been doing in the past. Now, as far as Danny Garcia is concerned, I have to think and realize that he probably wakes up every morning feeling super salty, as he wakes up in his Echo pajamas, wondering, man, what went wrong? How did I lose to Keith Once Upon a Time Thurman? How did I lose to Sean Coochie Cutter Teeth Porter? How did I lose to those guys? Well, the simple fact is they were the better men that night. They were better than you. So you're going to have to dig deep when you fight Spence to come off with a victory, right? Because if you take another loss, this will be loss number 3, body bag number 3, we could call it that. Don't get knocked down. Don't get knocked out. Because you do that, you're really going to be done. And you might just have to move up to 154. But that's a bad idea too. Just like when Kell Brook moved up to 154. You going to fight more cherries at 154, Danny? Now, let me stop hating. I like Danny Garcia, man. I think he's a good dude. But, he don't got it at 147, man. He don't got it at 147 at all. You know, there was once a time when people were looking at him like, man, he's up next. But nope, not anymore. I'm starting to think that Errol Spence is probably going to beat Danny Garcia relatively easy on November 21st. I think it might be an easy fight for Spence. But, you know, I'm hoping it's a close fight. I do want to see a competitive fight with Danny. You know, he's kind of one-dimensional, man. That left hook, he's a good counterpuncher, man. But he didn't look too great against Shawn Porter, man. He wasn't really landing like that against Keith Thurman. So his timing has been off. He's slow, flat-footed. I mean, I don't see how he's going to beat Spence, man. He's going to really have to rock Spence. And Spence has been rocked. Don't get it twisted. He's been rocked a few times. You know, Spence's saving grace in that fight with Shawn Porter was the fact that he knocked him down. That was a close fight. So all Danny Garcia really has to do is make this a close fight. In my opinion. If he makes it a close fight, he might get the W, honestly. He's about due for a win against a top-tier fighter. Don't get it twisted. We've seen Danny get some gift decisions. So, you know, hopefully Spence is on his A game and he does what he needs to do to not make this fight look like the Shawn Porter fight. He needs a knockdown. But again, man, I seen Danny Garcia get rocked, man. He didn't go down. We'll see how his body holds up. You know, Danny Garcia's face be looking like it went through a meat grinder at the end of every fight, so that's how it's probably going to look against Spence. Hitman Boxing, let me know what you guys think about Danny Garcia. I mean, you know, at one point, he was the man. But when he moved to 147, it just didn't have the same success. He really didn't have the same success. So after this fight with Errol Spence, what's next for Danny Garcia? He gonna fight another 2 interim bouts and then get another title shot? I'm really surprised he didn't take that fight with Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao would have rocked him too, though. In fact, I'm not sure what top-tier fighter at 147 Danny Garcia beats. I mean, he lost to Thurman, lost to Porter. I don't think he beats Spence. I don't think he beats Pacquiao. He has a puncher's chance, though, right? He might rock Spence. But I think Spence is focused. I've been reading some articles on him and watching some videos. He seems focused. So I got Spence winning this fight. Unanimous decision. Yeah, I got unanimous. I might change it up closer we get to fight because, again, if it's a close fight, it ain't going to be a unanimous decision. Like I said, Danny Garcia is about due for an upset if the fight looks close. Mark my words. Don't get it twisted. Hitman Boxing. Drop a comment, like the video, subscribe. Again, drop your thoughts about Danny Garcia. What should he do if he loses to Spence? Is it over? Does he stay in the body bag? Or does he make this fight competitive? Is Spence not ready? Is Spence not ready to step up so soon after his most recent car accident and injury? You let me know. I'm out.